Good morning, everyone. Yes, we are in a new book this morning. And the family here is busy getting ready to leave on vacation. Ooh, yes, I still have children to take care of. It's just two that are leaving, which will be fun too. Ooh, of course, I'll be praying, making sure that they're all safe at the beach. My youngest daughter is getting ready to go to Europe. Yes, to Portugal. All my children are traveling buddies. Ugh, just like me, I was. And I'm happy that they make time to go see things out in the world. But of course, here I am at home, just worried. Oh, please, Father, bring them. Please, Heavenly Parent, bring them home to me safely again. Yes, of course, it's always God's will, not mine. That's what it is. So, am I always prepped just in case? It is what it is. Part of life. So, I find it difficult sometimes to talk to some people or have a conversation because there is no room for growth. That's what it feels like to me. And it especially, causes me great sadness when it is about gossiping and slander of people that I personally feel, but they're wonderful people. What's there to complain about them, right? Yes. And there, suddenly you just realize that there's nothing one really can do anymore. And when I was much younger, I get mad. I get, God almighty, somebody get a switch or something, or bang that person on the head a couple of times, to straighten out their brain cells or something, rearrange their heart, But now, after all this studying, growth, my own spiritual growth, the things I was allowed to experience in so many different amazing ways, now my heart just fills with great sadness. And I have to just acknowledge that all I can do is pray to create some kind of a greater spiritual, positive spiritual surrounding around those people. And hopefully the descendants, will have a change of heart. Well, anyway, so that's what it is for me, and I just experienced that this morning. My gosh, where does it end? It's one thing if one has an opinion about something, but to downright just demonize someone because they can, not because that person is bad, but they can, is, to me, it's devastating for the people who are doing that. Oh, because I know spirit world so well and know where they're going to end up? No. Because they miss so much goodness. Anyway. Okay, which brings me to, I thought about that. I was looking for some guidance this morning. I said, my goodness, I'm thinking, guidance just because gosh, I'm at such a loss with that person. And parenthood came immediately to my mind. And true parents taught us that you got to be able to look at everyone as a child. You got to not just be a parent to your own children and then a grandparent to your grandchildren. It's got to go way beyond that. Yes? If you want to get to know God's heart. I saw a little clip. It was beautiful. Birds and how to build nests. Of course, I've seen enough nests of birds, and on how. You want to keep them because it's like, well, that's like a piece of art, considering it was built with a beak, right? Yes? And on how so many different birds all around the world, these amazing nests that they build, weave, just about knit, right? And then there are insects like wasps. We've had plenty of them at the farm. They're huge. The wasps are what? This big, and they build these huge wasp nests, right? That's just amazing constructions. And many other animals do that. For what? Parenthood. Yes? Amazing. Just amazing to me on how I looked at these birds building these nests and I'm going, man, I think we're going to have to rethink a little bit the intelligence and the principles of creation. I consider mankind as the top species of intelligence. We are different from the rest of the animal world and plant world, but really when it comes down to it, I've looked at the building of these intricate nests of these tiny little birds and I'm going, oh my gosh, there is an intelligence there, not just a drive and an instinct, but this is art. This is right. This is they do this every year, creating these intricate, beautiful nests. And you have to wonder, what type of intelligence actually is also within just the principles of creation? Yes? Principles of love, that's what we're under, mankind, in a way. Yes, both. Yeah. But, anyway, I think that we still have a long way to go to truly discover on how the physical and the spiritual world work together. And so, no, I don't believe in the end of the world. I don't believe in our heavenly parent going to destroy everything. I just think that as time goes on, mankind will become more aware of many things we just haven't discovered, haven't realized, because we're too busy with what? Gossiping and slandering others. Okay, just running after money. All right, we are in the first book of Maccabees, and here is the pre-thing. The first book of Maccabees. The two books of Maccabees record the fierce struggle of Judaism to resist absorption into the Hellenistic world from 167 to 151 BC. The kings of Syria, attempting to unify their empire, profited from factions within Judaism to try to stamp out the Jewish way of life. Elsewhere, this attempt to impose a Greek-style religion and culture was universally successful, and Judaism might well have perished with other local religions and cultures. But the attempt produced a furious opposition from all those faithful to the Jewish law. The opposition was led by Mattathias and his sons, a priestly family from a small village on the coastal plain, who soon became known as the Maccabees or Hammers. They set about their task with a reckless courage and faith in the unfailing help of their God. It soon became clear to the champions of the law that political independence was a necessary condition of religious freedom. What? It soon became clear to the champions of the law that political independence was a necessary condition of religious freedom. The separation of church and state? Is that? Maybe I'm understanding this wrong. The story of the 40-year struggle to establish this independence is the theme of the first book of Maccabees, of 1M, it says. The author, 1M, does that bring something to mind? Oh, it's all shortened up to what? And what do they do now in the computer world where you're reading something and you're going, no idea what that means. Give me the whole thing. Don't just string a bunch of letters together. That, each one makes a word. That's already here. Okay. The author writes with a winning admiration for his heroes and an uncompromising commitment to his Jewish values. The account was written in Hebrew probably about 100 years before Christ, but exists now only in a GK version. You see, there we go. What's a GK version? That's like, that computers at that time? Okay. There's a good deal of overlap with 2M, which covers the second book of Maccabees, which covers part of the same period from a different angle. Dates in 1 and 2 Maccabees are reckoned from 312 BC, the year of the foundation of Antioch. Okay, overlap. Interesting how to say that here. All right. Okay. Plan of the book. Okay, the first book of Maccabees, introduction. 1. Alexander and his successors. Alexander of Macedon, son of Philip, had come from the land of Kittim and defeated Darius, that's it, king of the Persians and Medes, whom he succeeded as ruler at first of Hellas. He undertook many campaigns, gained possession of many fortresses, and put the local kings to death. So he advanced to the ends of the earth, plundering nation after nation. The earth grew silent before him, and his ambitious heart swelled with pride. Wow, isn't it interesting what I just said before? Some people you just can't, it doesn't matter what you do, it doesn't matter how much you explain, how much you lay in front of them as proof or just common sense. Nothing will change their heart to mind. And it seems to me this Alexander, what's his purpose for doing all this? To gain what in the world? Yes? So many lives. He's standing on what? A whole bunch of bodies. Dead bodies. What an accomplishment. His ambitious heart swelled with pride over something like that. He assembled very powerful, and he wasn't stopped. He assembled very powerful forces and subdued provinces, nations and princes, and they became his tributaries. Money, there you go, money and treasures. But the time came when Alexander took to his bed in the knowledge that he was dying. Oh dear me, he was? Oh, not immortal. He summoned his officers, noblemen who had been brought up with him from his youth, and divided his kingdom among them while he was still alive. Why would he do that? Well, that's interesting. Why would he do that? He didn't want someone else to look as great as he did, so he divides it all up. Alexander had reigned 12 years when he died. Whoa, that was long. Each of his officers established himself in his own region. All assumed crowns after his death, they and their heirs after them for many years, bringing increasing evils on the world. Whoa, what a move. Antiochus Epiphanes, Israel, infected with Hellenism. From these there grew a wicked offshoot. Antiochus Epiphanes, son of King Antiochus, Once a hostage in Rome, he became king in the 107th year of the kingdom of the Greeks. It was then that there emerged from Israel a set of renegades who led many people astray. Come, they said, let us all ally ourselves with the Gentiles surrounding us. For since we separated ourselves from them, many misfortunes have overtaken us. Oh. Like what? Thought they were all doing so well. This is just This proposal proved acceptable, and a number of the people eagerly approached the king, who authorized them to practice the Gentiles' observances. Who was the king? Doesn't say. So they built a gymnasium in Jerusalem, such as the Gentiles have, disguised their circumcision, and abandoned the Holy Covenant, submitting to Gentile rule as willing slaves of impiety. Again? Okay, is this now? Go back here. When was this supposedly? $160. 167 to 151. Huh. Oh, and then it goes farther back to 312. So while the book of Esther was written, or the time of it, the same time this stuff was going on. Okay, you guys lost me again. This does not make any sense with anything. All right. First Egyptian campaign and pillage of the temple. Again. Once Antiochus had seen his authority established, he determined to make himself king of Egypt and the ruler of both kingdoms. He invaded Egypt in massive strength with chariots and elephants, and cavalry, and a large fleet. He engaged Ptolemy, king of Egypt, in battle, and Ptolemy turned back and fled before his advance, leaving many casualties. The fortified cities of Egypt were captured, and the Antiochus plundered the country. After his conquest of Egypt in the year 143, Antiochus turned about and advanced on Israel and Jerusalem in massive strength. Insolently breaking into the sanctuary, he removed the golden altar and the lampstand for the light with all its fittings, together with the table for the loaves of permanent offering, the libation vessels, the cups, the golden censers, the veil, the crowns, and the golden decoration on the front of the temple, which he stripped of everything. He made off with the silver and gold and precious vessels. He discovered the secret treasures and seized them, and removing all these, he went back to his own country, having shed much blood and uttered words of extreme arrogance. There was deep mourning for Israel throughout the country. Again, the temple was raided again. Doesn't that tell us kind of something? Keep your home simple with simple things. So there's nothing to steal? What if there's nothing to steal? That's so good one. I have to tell you this one. There's an elderly lady walking her dog, and she has this purse on, and a thief comes and grabs her purse. Another guy sees it, comes over and says, "Oh, you all right?" She said, "Oh, yeah, I'm perfectly fine." "Oh, I'm so sorry, your purse got stolen." I said, "Oh, it's all right." I said, "It's an old purse. I just carry it with me to put the dog poop in it." Anybody gonna come and plunder your house if there isn't anything there? Oh, don't, just saying. Live simply. Yeah, have what you need, but live simply. Yes. And then save up your money. And go and see the world. Do something good with it. Yes. Rather than keep gold and silver and I don't know what. As I said, is that going to do any good to God in that temple? He's not stopping anybody from taking all that stuff. That supposedly is what? Dedicated to Him. Just saying. Yet, here, Israel is in deep mourning. Why? It's just God in one of those gold pieces or silver pieces or whatever, is he? Rulers and elders groaned. Girls and young men wasted away. The women's beauty suffered a change. Every bridegroom took up a dirge. The bride sat grief-stricken on her marriage bed. The earth quaked because of its inhabitants, and the whole house of Jacob was clothed with shame. Ooh. Intervention, that's a long one, of the Mizarch and construction of the Akra. 2 years later, the king sent to Mizarch through the cities of Judah. He came to Jerusalem with an impressive force, and addressing them with what appeared to be peaceful words, he gained their confidence. Then suddenly he fell on the city, dealing it a terrible blow and destroying many of the people of Israel. He pillaged the city and set it on fire, tore down its houses and encircling wall, took the women and children captive, and commandeered the cattle. They then rebuilt the city of David with a great strong wall and strong towers, and made this their citadel. There they installed a brood of sinners, of renegades, who fortified themselves inside it, storing arms and provisions and depositing there the loot they had collected from Jerusalem. They were to prove a great trouble. It became an ambush for the sanctuary, an evil adversary for Israel at all times. They shed innocent blood all around the sanctuary and defiled the sanctuary itself. The citizens of Jerusalem fled because of them. She became a dwelling place of strangers, estranged from her own offspring. Her children forsook her. Her sanctuary became as forsaken as a desert. Her feasts were turned into mourning, her Sabbaths into a mockery, her honor into reproach. Her dishonor now fully matched her former glory. Her greatness was turned into grief. I find it interesting on how the cities, right, yes, that are occupied by men, are built up by men, are always considered her, right? I said that. I talked about the book of Revelation on how that is just mistook as, that's a woman? No, they kind of, that's, in the Bible often, cities are addressed when they talk about a city as her, right? Yes, interesting? I'm just saying. Well, anyway, so here we go again. What else is new here? And it sounds like the Israelites have already before kind of gone again with the Gentile stuff. So, I mean, installation of Gentile cults. The king then issued a proclamation to his whole kingdom that all were to become a single people, each nation renouncing its particular customs. All the Gentiles conformed to the king's decree, and many Israelites chose to accept his religion, sacrificing to idols and profaning the Sabbath. To survive, I find it interesting too on how in world history, on how many men out there what did we read here? Oh, that king came and he was, talked sense kind of, and then he fell upon them. On how Genghis Khan is one of them, for example, right? It says, "Oh no, I want all the people to be under the same thing," right? Yes, yeah, and the slaughter, and in order to do that, the slaughter that it caused, and the brutality that, even though, right? Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, if you're going to read up on that guy, it's pretty darn weird. Okay, just saying. And but it sounded good. It sounded really good. The laws that he was going to implement for everybody, kind of the equality thing, it sounded really good. But was it? Yes, was it? How come everyone failed? There were more. Many emperors said they wanted to do that. China is another good example, right? Where there were emperors that tried to, no, we're going to do this, right? And so that there will be peace for everyone. Did it ever work? Never worked. Never, ever. what's the latest? Or what was the latest one we had? Hitler? I don't know. Who else is trying now in the world? Heard an interesting piece of news where a political leader of a fighting faction out in the world has passed away. Okay. Has been assassinated, or I don't know. They don't really know. But he is no more. Why do they all fail? Their intentions aren't all that great. It's interesting, isn't it? Yes? Again, just say. All right. So here's another one. Didn't know about this one yet. Now I know. The king also sent edicts by messenger to Jerusalem and towns of Judah, directing them to adopt customs foreign to the country, banning burnt offerings, sacrifices, and libations from the sanctuary, profaning Sabbaths and feasts, defiling the sanctuary and everything holy, building altars, shrines, and temples for idols, sacrificing pigs and unclean beasts, leaving their sons uncircumcised, and prostituting themselves to all kinds of impurity and abomination, so that they should forget the law and revoke all observance of it. Okay, what, this is the first time that the Israelites have done that? I don't think so. So a foreign custom, really? They've done all this, what? When are they actually ever following God? This is nothing new. This is actually, the new thing was what? The covenant with God. The Ark of the Covenant, which never seems to really truly be able to establish itself. They're always falling back to what? So it's not foreign. This isn't foreign to the Israelites. It's actually what they know best. Yes? How many times was the temple taken down? Not just by foreigners. Just saying. What that tells us here, how difficult it was for God, right? Our heavenly parent, to actually establish himself amongst the people as what? The heavenly parent, the guide, the creator. Yes? That's what I'm gleaning out of this again. Anyone not obeying the king's command was to be put to death. Well, yeah, of course. Yeah, again. Writing in such terms to every part of his kingdom, the king appointed inspectors for the whole people and directed all the towns of Judah to offer sacrifice city by city. Many of the people, that is, every apostate from the law, rallied to them and so committed evil in the country, forcing Israel into hiding in any possible place of refuge. On the 15th day of Chislev, in the year 145, the king built the appalling abomination on top of the altar of burnt offering, and altars were built in the surrounding towns of Judah, and incense offered at the doors of houses and in the streets. Any books of the law that came to light were torn up and burned. Whenever anyone was discovered possessing a copy of the covenant or practicing the law, the king's decree sentenced him to death. Interesting. They had copies of the law now. Remember, they had to find that was they found it, and now suddenly people have that. I kind of forgot to mention that and how that was kind of given out to this or that to what tries to establish again. And here we go again. The king's decree sentenced him to death. Month after month, they took harsh action against any offenders they discovered in the towns of Israel. And you know what? I have no doubt that there was a lot of fraud going on where the people were trying to survive. Now, okay, we'll just do on the surface what they want us to do. And I could see that. And there's always people who will rat you out. There will be traitors amongst you. It blows my mind away. Spies. And it's always done, of course, for money, right? And And I've no doubt that, okay, copies of the law. How many were there, right? How many people actually knew how to read at that time? Just wondering. Write and read. So, plant a book either in the house, close by enough that, oh, must be that one's. Right? So I can get rid of them because they, for one reason or another, were considered a bit of a threat. Okay, just say. Man. On the 25th day of each month, sacrifice was offered on the altar erected on the top of the altar and burnt offering. Women who had had their children circumcised were put to death according to the edict, with their babies hung around their necks, and the members of their household and those who had performed the circumcision were executed with them. Oh, jeez Louise. Yet there were many in Israel who stood firm and found the courage to refuse unclean food. They chose death rather than contamination by such fare or profanation of the Holy Covenant, and they were executed. It was a truly dreadful retribution that visited Israel. So this was supposedly happening at the same time and after the Book of Esther, where the massacres were avoided. No, they weren't avoided here. What happened exactly are these two different parts. Again, the Book of Esther is just a tale. Okay, well, that becomes very confusing because now basically we're being told that's reality right here. This is how it was. Sounds like, oh wow, right after Jesus' death, right? What happened there for 400 years? Christian persecution and all that. But what was going on in, so are these two different places now they're talking about the Israelites? Because where was Mordecai? In what part of the world or country? And here this is talking about now Israel and Jerusalem, right? Yes? But it sounds like it's kind of going on at the same time and a little after. Wow. So wherever Mordecai was as a, not a prisoner, an exile, things went okay, but in Israel things went really south for the people. Can you imagine? If this is all true, this is horrible stuff. Yes? Well, anyway, are you guys getting ready? Whoa. I better go and be a part of that now. That's all I have to share this morning.
Did you tell him about where we're going?
No, and we're not going to. I told them you guys were going on vacation to the beach, but they don't need to know where exactly. You never know who's listening. Yes. Alrighty. Well, that's all I have to share this morning. I got to go. Interesting? Not interesting. This is the same again. Like reading the Book of Kings again, right? Yes? Alright, now we're in Maccabees. Alrighty. Right. But, sounds like we're going to hear about some that on how you overcome. Probably killing a whole bunch of people too. Yes. Alright, I got you. And then there were the ones who decided, no, we're going to stick with God's laws. We're going to have to give our lives. Done.
Daddy's here.
Yeah, no. Surely he wasn't going to go to work for half a day.
He's going to mow the grass.
He's going to mow the grass?
Wash the car.
Oh. Before you guys leave? Really? Oh. Well, we better make sure that all the poop is picked up.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Oh. May Heavenly Parent bless and protect you and embrace you with love. And we'll talk to you all at another time.